Yo, what up? Welcome to another episode of Feelin It Fridays, where I share with you some tracks that I'm really feeling in hopes that I will introduce you to some new music, some new sounds, some new artists, and inspire some new dance from you. This song is titled Stoned Love by Books off of the Do Love EP. This was the first time that I've heard this artist, and since I've bought a number of songs from this artist, and what an introduction this track was. Right out the gate, this song starts with that kind of classic disco, funk, soul feel, but you automatically know from listening to it that it obviously isn't an old redone track. It is something new that has a vibrant characteristic that you can play out in the club and will get people moving. Right from the first few notes of the song, you already get a sense of the groove and where this track is gonna take you, or so you think, and that's what's really interesting about the beginning. Right off the bat, the first few notes, they give you that closing of the open hat with that funky bass line. It's like you're already grooving, and it's a funky groove, so you're sometimes hitting that quarter note, just kind of rocking, but you also kind of are just skipping and falling on that funky bass line. It is so beautiful right out the gate. And it's interesting because as the song develops within just the first few seconds, you already are introduced to this vocalist that couldn't be more sonically prepared or sonically adapted for the instrumentation of this track. The vocal cuts through, for lack of a better metaphor, like a hot knife through butter. It's just so beautiful, so creamy, but obviously not rich. The vocal's kind of more on the top end of the frequency spectrum, so it really does come direct to your eardrum. It doesn't first shimmy through your bones and into your feel good. It's beautiful, and she comes in so serenely and so sonically. And as her vocal comes in, you feel like you're there cheering her on, like you know this song like it's an anthem, because the sample of this crowd getting pumped up at like this little live venue is there, kind of filling in the energy. And what a dope way to use a sample at the beginning to build up the feeling and the vibe of what's about to happen when he just drops the essential groove on that ass.
Just believe.
And we also already get a sense of the lyrical context and the beauty within this song right off the bat, talking about lighting up darkened worlds, and it's just if you believe. I love when things make sense. I also like lyrics that allow for a lot of different interpretations, but I also like stuff that really just hits home and points out again the humanity that we connect to when we're listening to and dancing to music that is soul music. We are humans, we have soul, therefore this music connects to us in an interesting way. And then as she builds up with this little mini vocal apocalypse, which is probably not a great word to describe it, she comes in and the timing of everything just dropping out behind her. If you just believe, boom. It's not like major club shattering kick drums, bass lines, and synthesis. It's solid gold groove that just flattens out with the drum kit that comes in, with the triangle in the background, giving you a bit of that kind of syncopation to fill in the energy in between the kick drum, the bass line, and the snare and the drum percussions that come in. And now your groove, your funk groove, has just got a little bit more disco. And now you're grooving with a little bit more purpose. Still a lot of stank and a lot of funk, but the movements now are there. They're sharper, they're flowing, you're creating, you're moving around, and it just gets more and more beautiful as the song progresses. And so we ride on, and you get a hint of the roads to then warm things back up because we removed that vocal for a little bit. Playing a few keys, giving you some of that warmth, you get this nice little guitar that loops us back and then puts us back on the one where we continue to get some of that funk. And this is dope because now you have the funk putting us back on the one while the disco is driving that kind of up that jack. And just when you thought you were listening to something classic or redone or an older take, you then get this new style synth open filter sweep that comes in, swamp, swamp, and it's this, the sound is so perfect, like the vocal cuts through and just tickles you. It pulls you out of the past and puts you in the present without removing some of the soul and the funk and the disco flavor from the track in general. We continue to ride and the vocal comes back in. Oh, this has only been 30-40 seconds. Yeah, you're getting this. It's coming in. It's within a short amount of time. You have all this feel good happen, and you feel like you've been grooving to this track for 4 or 5 minutes, and it's really only been a minute, if that. When you hear the vocal start to leak back in, it's actually used more as an instrument, a sustaining note that comes in, and you'll hear it have a heavy side chain. What that means is that they've taken that sound and they've applied a pump to it, which usually is tied to the groove, that backing kick of the song, and it gives it energy. So this note isn't just a sustaining vocal, it's now something that becomes a rhythmic element on top of a sustaining note. And it again reminds you you're listening to something that's current. This is a technique that's really popular in electronic music, especially like classic New York style soulful house. And just when we get a grasp on this nice little segment after the first drop, we go into another breakdown with the vocal being resampled, If You Just Believe, and things drop out, and again you get another sense of we're now listening to a modern song with techniques and things that are applied to give you a change up. And as a dancer, we're kind of expecting to memorize something or to be able to create something where we can think less about the music and think more about our movement. And this song doesn't give you the opportunity to really think in that way unless you're obviously very quick-witted in your ears. You have to do more feeling and less movement construction. But that's actually really dope because there is still a sense of groove, and you kind of know based on how things are dropping, and it's so funky on the one with such a disco jacking feel or kind of pumping feel that you know when things come back in where you can settle your energy, where that movement can come from. And so as we come out of another break, we get dumped right back out into that funk and soul, and man, it is so beautiful.
You just believe, you just believe, you just believe, you just believe.
And now as the track progresses, because we could spend literally every 20 seconds talking about what I enjoy and how I might move, the song kind of rinses and repeats that little cycle from beginning to where we're at with a minute and a half or so. And it gives you this this breakdown where it highlights certain instruments. You get some of the bass line or some of the snare. You get a touch of that vocal sample again. You get that sample of the crowd that kind of builds you back up kind of in the middle, that's applauding this sultry sonic sireness. That was a lot of S's, but I'll trademark that, where they're cheering her on so she can drop us out again. And as we come through another build-up, breakdown, bridgey type thing, we're then greeted with another kind of sustaining pad synth that's just providing energy throughout this funk and soul groove, which pretty much ends up taking us out through to the rest of the song. This song carries you kind of through this ride, as I keep saying, of funk and soul and groove, and it just has so many possibilities. A lot of great use because of the funk groove, that negative space that allows us to get creative and fill in the gap with our physical, where the audio is not there or the sound is not there. And as this song winds up, I just can't say much more than put it on repeat. And wow, what a great track. Books, Stoned Love off the Do Love EP. Such a great title. Such a great working piece of music. I'm so glad I found this artist. I can't wait to hear more. If you're feeling these videos like I'm feeling this song, please like, subscribe, maybe let me know about some dope music so I can check it out. I appreciate you. Peace.
You'll just be